Let's get the right years on.
Yep.
The sooner the better, if we have the numbers. Agreed.
No, I know our restriction, but keep pushing harder.
Wednesday afternoon, I would like.
Good.
Emails.
I did. You didn't remind me to clear out all the meetings on here, so I have room, but I did.
Okay, join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, the first thing we have on the agenda is the approval agenda, and I understand we have a deletion. May childcare has a scheduling issue, so we will postpone them to a different date. Is there any other changes on the agenda? If not, we're in order for a motion to approve the agenda.
Hearing no other changes, I'll make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carried. Next we have is the approval of the board minutes for December 6th. There has been some discussion that we need to change in regard to the opioid settlement, that it states that the chair signed the resolution, but it also stated that he signed all the agreements, and we had made the motion that the county attorney signed those agreements, so that change needs to be done. What was your other one then?
Yeah, we need to make a change to the supervisor's signatures on 2 of the resolutions. There was one of you that abstained, and I have his signature on there, but not on the one that he voted on. So just a clerical error there, so get that updated.
With those changes, is there a motion to approve the minutes with those changes?
Just to make sure everybody understands, John will be the point person on all contacts.
Yes.
But we authorized our chair to jump in with the rest of the counties of the state and getting into the opioid settlement. Is that how correct?
The way it was, we passed the resolution authorizing the settlement, and that was given the chair the authorization to sign that resolution. The rest of the motion for the agreements where John is going to be the point person to sign. And that is Jan's participation and the other settlement participation, and also on the memorandum of understanding. Okay.
Yes, clear. Scott still got a motion, I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, the first thing we have on the agenda is new opportunities fiscal year 23 funding. Chad, why don't you come up here?
Right.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me this morning. As Gene said, I'm Chad Jensen. I'm the CEO of New Opportunities. Been with New Opportunities for 20 years. Gene helped me celebrate it this year as our board chairman. So thanks again for giving up Gene to be our board president. Continues to do a great job. So thank you, Gene. We do bring to you our ask for this year. We are keeping it the same as what we have for the last 12 years. It is $11,935 for a prevention program. That is very important for us as it is matching monies for some other grants that we get for prevention. So that is very, very important. Of course, our $13,000 for our family development center, and then $7,085 for our treatment programs as well. And again, all those numbers are staying the same as they have for the last 12 years. maybe just to spend a few minutes just to talk about our different services. I would start us off by looking at, I know you all have got the packet, it looks like. I'm on page 1, attachment 4. And so looking at the description of services, just to kind of highlight some things. And actually, I'm going to go to that next page, which is page 2. Within our Family Development Center, we are, of course, have got a food pantry, and it's where we also offer used clothing and furniture. We do holiday food packages, back to school supplies, giving trees, gifts, and then toys for tots. Lots and lots going on within our Family Development Center. Our Carroll Community Gardens, we've got 71 plots that we utilize to Carroll citizens can rent those plots, as well as a lot of our low-income families can use those plots as well. Within our food pantry, we have been doing the food pantry since 1970. We love to be that one-stop shop where we can offer lots of different services. You don't just come in and get a food pantry. We're trying to get you into lots of different services that we provide, whether it's provided by the state or the federal government, with the idea that you get lots of services, but then you get off of our programs as soon as possible. We're trying to help folks to be more self-sufficient, and we're really wanting folks to not utilize our services, just like the majority of our families do not want to use our services. So that's what makes us unique and really a great service to Carroll County. Our food pantry, we do allow our families to choose their own food at the food pantry. That does help to eliminate waste and really helps them to get the foods that they're needing and that they know what they've got at home with their pantries and that sort of thing. Part of that one-stop shop is that financial literacy piece. We are educating our clients on eating on a budget, clipping coupons, utilizing other food sources, and that sort of thing. And then also we offer all of our clients the opportunity to volunteer, to come back and help us with stocking, whether it be the food pantry or just other services you might need help with, to volunteer. So it's kind of a, they come in for services, but we also can help put them to work if they're interested and got the time to do that as well. As you all know, we've been doing the Carroll County General Assistance since July of 2020. And from what I know, it's going very, very well. I've not had any issues with that, and we certainly appreciate Courtney's help with that. It's been huge help for us for that program. We do utilize the disaster assistance. We implement that program, thank goodness. Carroll County is not a is not in need of a disaster assistance monies right now, like down the south where the tornadoes were. So, I mean, God forbid, if there ever be a tornado or some kind of a natural disaster, if that was implemented in the state of Iowa, we would be the program that would offer that to the citizens of Carroll County. Within Lighty, we do provide those services to Carroll County residents. And then just kind of quickly going down through the next page of Head Start, which is 0 to 5. We've got 80 families in Carroll County alone. In WIC, we are working with 515 Carroll County families in maternal health and adolescent health. We work with 1,106 Carroll County pregnant, postpartum women and children. Within our community adolescent prevention program, pregnancy prevention program, we worked with 285 students this last year. Weatherization, of course, that's where we're going out and we are weatherizing people's homes so that they can stop, so that they don't need that lighting, that heating assistance program anymore. So again, it's our goal to get folks off our program. So by being able to weatherize some people's homes, make it insulated, make it a better home in that regard, they won't need the services anymore. Financial literacy, lots of great information on that. We love that program. Our substance abuse and problem gambling treatment program continues to be well utilized. We are seeing more with our gambling, and we did get a little bit additional money from the state to kind of beef up our gambling program. I think that is helping. We're starting to see more movement like that. So hopefully we can continue to help out folks who are in need of those kinds of services. So if we go all the way back to the it's attachment 5, looks at all the different individuals that we've served. This is a chart that we put together every year for you. Kind of gives you an idea of the ages that we're working with. Not sure if I mentioned it yet. We saw 1,590 individuals, and those are non-duplicated. Whereas some of the numbers that I've given you already have been duplicated. Because again, it's that one-stop shop. We're trying to give people, if they're getting heating energy assistance, we're also trying to get them hooked up into our financial literacy or our Head Start program or something like that. So these numbers are going to be more of your one-time clients numbers. So just kind of going through the health insurance, the disabled, the veterans, the difference in female, 891 female clients, 699 male clients. And again, I know y'all can read these statistics, lots of really, really interesting statistics on what we're doing within Carroll County. If we look at the blue chart, second to last page, looking at the household served, we did serve 4,611 households this last year. And it kind of goes into the stats of how many of those were LIHEAP, which ones were crisis. We even got specific this year with COVID food needs, emergency food needs, holiday food packages, and all those kinds of things as well. The interesting piece of this particular chart down towards the bottom looks at the amount of money that is being utilized here in Carroll County. And LIHEAP in Carroll County, we did provide $271,000 of LIHEAP payments. Crisis payments made were $104,000. And so lots of, just interesting stats there. But then the wages piece of it down there on the bottom for Carroll County. Now that's a big part of economic development. I think sometimes not-for-profits and opportunities we kind of get skipped over as we're an important part of economic development in Carroll County as well. And for our wages we spent out to our staff, and Gene can attest, we've got over 120 employees now across our 7 counties. But for those folks that are located, housed out of our Carroll office, so it's $1.8 million to our Carroll employees. And then the very final page, and then I'll be done for today, is just looking at the referrals we've made out. Yes, we're a one-stop shop. We try to do as many of our services as we can within, but there are many services that we don't do within our building, and that's very okay. And we want to utilize these other great organizations here in Carroll County as well. So you can see some of those different organizations we work with, whether it be Department of Human Services or Elder Bridge Agency on Aging or anything like that. Free Clinics of Iowa, lots of different organizations we work with. So, hey, that's the quick presentation. Anyone got any questions today?
Is the food pantry up and running after the fire?
Yeah, the food pantry is up and running, going very, very well. We have great support from the community to donate. Our insurance policy did cover the replenishment of that. And so that has been really quite a process to do inventory of our building and even the food. So we had shelves and shelves of food. It was not burnt. The fire was not in that area, but it had smoke had been in that room. And the insurance company was very, very concerned about those cans, that there could be soot or smoke on those cans. And we really felt like, if we were to have some volunteers, we could clean the tops of those cans, and we really felt like we would be safe. The insurance company is very concerned about that. They didn't want any liability issues. And so what they wanted to do and what they did do was they counted all the cans and then gave us a reimbursement for that. And so our plan is to be working with both Fairway and Hy-Vee and then the Food Bank of Iowa to slowly get those.
Chad, maybe you want to bring everybody up to speed on that fire and where those services that were disrupted, where they're relocated to.
Yeah.
And the timing of this, I think is, we were very fortunate in a lot of things that we were able to probably miss a heartbeat.
We really didn't miss a heartbeat. That building is going to be out of commission for at least a year. And we did move our services up to North Main Street. It's actually the old building that we used to own, and we provided our services out of there, the food pantry and all of that. And so John Houghton purchased that building. We're renting that building from him. And so it's really working out, quite well. The staff and even board, our president, Gene, was out there the day of the fire and helped to move things and help to get things reorganized and all that sort of thing. But it's really going very, very well. Service masters out there doing their finishing touches today and tomorrow. We have taken out a lot of the ceiling tiles, a lot of the drywall. Just lots and lots of work has been done. Now this week we'll be working with some general contractors here in the area to see who's going to get the bid or who's going to do the work, and then they will sub out the electrical and the plumbing. We're thinking it's going to be around $750,000 in damage by the time we're done. It was significant smoke. It's just so hard to get that out. They're having to take down a lot of the walls and ceiling, of course, the furnaces and air conditioners. There's just a whole lot to this process. So, but the great thing is when this fire occurred, the children were all outside on the playground, and so they didn't see smoke, they didn't see fire. They saw the fire alarm going off on the playground, and so we have drills every month. The children knew to line up. They walked them across the parking lot to the main building. Their big story when they got home that night was that, Mom, Dad, the fire trucks were out here. It was so cool. I mean, they thought it was a positive, neat experience. And so, we're just so thankful that if those children would have been in the classroom and saw smoke, we know we would have gotten them out safely. But it's just that traumatic thing is they didn't see any of that scary stuff. They just saw the cool firemen. And kind of a neat sidebar to that is that our fire chief, Greg Schreck, had been out the week before and had talked to the children about fire prevention and had his shiny truck out there. Kind of a neat story because he, the children knew kind of the process and knew what was going to be going on. So if it worked out, it couldn't have probably worked out any better, even though it's not been a very fun experience for any of us. But we're getting through it. We're getting through it. We've got awesome staff that are all working together. So.
And the classrooms were moved up to the other building.
Yeah, thank you. The classrooms were moved up to the Early Head Start Center, which is just north of Farnbach. As many of you know, we just bought that building and remodeled that entire building. The bottom level was a large conference room that we were planning to use for our seminars, our workshops, and that sort of thing. And what we did was we turned those into 2 classrooms. We actually built a wall down the middle of that conference room so we can have those 2 classrooms down there. And so lots of good space. The kitchen is out there, so we're still able to provide meals for the children and everything. So it's working out.
Any questions, Chad?
How do you manage to keep it the same for 12 years? Yes. You're not getting as much. Rents are getting tougher to get at.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, and we just continue to tighten our belt. And honestly, the last 2 years, the CFO and myself have been talking hard about that. I'm looking at, should we not try to increase it at least a couple of percent every year? Right now, I mean, we're getting very, very close. We're getting very close to where we're going to have to see if we can't get some additional monies. But I mean, we also work really hard to always get new grants too. I mean, we do have a development director on staff that she does a great job with my help. We're always looking for new grants. We're looking for new funding sources. We do get nice support from the community. That we're just able to keep it going. We don't live lavishly. Gene has always been all about the Taj Mahal. I'm sure, I bet you guys have heard those words from Gene
Never
as
heard
well.
never heard him say that.
He reminds me constantly that let's not build a Taj Mahal out here and not constantly, but with his direction, we're a very conservative organization. Our salaries are middle of the road. We do salary surveys for across the state. We don't pay our staff the highest, but we also work hard not to be the lowest. We try to be kind of in that middle of the road. Our buildings and things are very nice, but they're not, very, very flush or anything like that. So we're doing good. We're doing good. So.
Any other questions? Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
very much.
Okay, next we have is the county fair. Fiscal 23 request. Ready, Mr. Moore?
I think so. This weekend, we had just had, our convention of all the county fairs. So, we got some info that I'd just like to share to add to your packet. And this just kind of gives you, our CEO, puts this all together. So this is the info from, all the fairs. And it kind of gives you some ideas of what goes on. I know our CEO looked at this as he was talking about it, and he goes, I wish we could say that that's the way it is every year when we were comparing 21 to 20 as far as attendance and everything else. But the big thing is that we're very fortunate to keep getting the state funding to help out with all the infrastructure work that always comes up about on the fairgrounds. So I just wanted to share that with you in addition to what else, the info that we gave you. Because it's always interesting to see, especially in capital improvements and 4-H and FFA involvements to help. Once again, as you saw, we're just asking if we can continue to get the same funding as what we've got in the past here. We had a very successful fair. This year is probably, as far as I would say, is probably the second largest attendance that we ever had. Which we were very impressed by. We changed some activities that we had, and I know we use that as that was the huge factor as attendance goes. Our Friday night, we had a demolition derby instead of a rodeo, and we had probably 2,500 people in the grandstand that night for to watch the demolition derby. So that was something that we haven't had there for 28 years. Was the last time I put on a demo because I only had 2 cars show up. So that's why we quit doing that. But we got a promoter that came in who has followers, and they were there, put on a good show. And I know the interest got big about minivan demolition. So I think we're going to have a big minivan demo for 2022, the way the county involvements are talking. But no, it was, like I say, very successful. Our buildings were bulging with livestock. Our hogs were up just a little bit, not a lot, but our goats, the cattle, we're up. Our numbers were up, which is great. As we talked this weekend, we need to keep the youth involved in our livestock industry of this Midwest to keep them producing, keep the interest there, so we can keep feeding and keep the economics going in the right direction. And like I've always said, county fairs are what you call so family orientated that that's always been our primary focus. Is it's a family friendly event. we have always kept it what I call pretty reasonable, being only $5 to get in and then spend your day at the fair. Our attendance, like I say, was phenomenal. I know Saturday night, we figured we had well over 3,000 people there for the figure 8 races. So, which once again is always still our little niche that we have in Carroll County. I don't know, Brian, is there anything that you can think of to add, or?
You know, I says the one thing that did big difference we had this year was they did change some of the rules on the bucket and bottle, calves and lambs and that. And so we had a big increase in that, and that's because they're letting the Clover kids bring more of those animals, which gets the younger kids involved. And that we're seeing a big increase there. And, you know, that's some of our bulging at the seams for livestock. You know, I know we're gonna have to do some changes for next year. That was one of the big things I saw. But we did see a lot of new faces down there this year. It wasn't just it wasn't just the same crew, same kids. There was I didn't see a lot of new faces there this year for exhibitors and even attendance. People that we hadn't seen there before.
I know one of the huge factors too that really helped us out, is that we all received $50,000 for the COVID relief, which our CEO worked with the governor and got that through. So that was huge to help all the county fairs out to come out of 20 to make it into 21 to be able to put their fairs on. Now we can't use that to buy entertainment or anything like that. It's to be used to cover your labor expenses, your utilities, and your insurance purposes of your buildings and everything. So that was a very huge lift for a lot of county fairs. Because when you go from, having incomes of 100,000 to only having an income of 10, 15, that's a big difference, So the $50,000 was huge for a lot of fairs to help them be able to stay together and come into 21. So it's helped us horrendously. As you can well see in the report, there's we're financially of where we're at. I'd have to say in the 30 years that I've been doing this, we're in the best shape we've ever been coming in. So being able to have everything put together like we did and receive that was huge. Our sale once again for the 4-H and FFAers was huge too. I'm pretty sure everybody bought $300 once again as their appreciation, from all the businesses. So was another huge success in that.
See your livestock change, is the beef and pork kind of going down a little bit, and the goats and rabbits and smaller animals.
The goats are going up, beef is going up. Yeah, the beef has gone up. I mean, we went, especially because like Brian mentioned, open it up to the Clover kids more.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's between 50 and 60 kids in Clover. And so they were able to bring, the like bucket calves. I think we had 21 head of bucket calves there. So, I mean, that's a huge jump. I mean, we went
Good with kids.
yeah. I mean, getting the younger ones involved quicker gives them,
Have you seen any alpacas, strange. I know, I've seen them showing up in lots of places, and lots of farmsteads are starting to pick up llamas. It's been, my daughter's right in the middle of it, but after she started getting, as I drive, I see them there popping up all over the place, and I assume they're getting their kids involved. It's something that's fairly simple. I think the last one, I think the alpacas are turning into more static type thing where they use the dryer balls and they create all kinds of crazy things from the fur. Never would have thought of any of that when I was a kid, but
So we did have peacocks down there this year. Yeah, it's just, you know, on the overall livestock numbers, it's just hogs have been holding their own, which 2 years, it was 2 years ago, our packer said, we won't take them anymore.
yeah, I mean,
So,
there's been some outside forces against
yeah,
that.
yeah, so just holding our own is doing all right, you know?
Any other questions for them?
Just by your financial statement, looks like you're going into you're pretty good.
Yeah, which is very fortunate because we've had two things go wrong for us. We had to put a brand new furnace and air conditioner in the building. So luckily that was over 7,000 to do that. And our sound system went down on us on the racetrack, which it's been up there for 25 years. So
It's a nice time to have.
yeah, having this extra little money now is huge, because otherwise we'd really be scratching trying to hold it together to take care of things that wore out. So
Yeah, we also had one of the coolers in the kitchen that went down.
yeah.
I said, we started looking at stuff. I said, Jim, why'd you buy so much stuff 20 years? All wearing out the same
Now it's
year
all
again.
wearing out at the same time.
Very easily.
Oh, yeah.
So
It,
fortunately, we have it, you know, we are in a good position to take care of some of that.
So you got $50,000 in COVID relief. Did all the county fairs
Yeah.
get that amount, or
Yeah.
did they get higher?
Some,
some got higher.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you got
Yeah.
some bigger fairs.
Yeah.
County fairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when we first got the letter info on that, we were like, oh boy, you know, I hope we can, you know, get 10,000 or 20,000. Totally surprised to
Blows
see
you away, did it?
to see $50,000 check show up. I mean, that was just like, wow, you know, because we, you know, as when we were in February talking, you know, how the heck are we gonna put on 21 county fairs when, you know, we don't even know how we're gonna hold her together, you know? Because we're just scrapping, you know, and then to have that show up, it was like, wow. What a relief, you know, to be able to come in and put the county fairs on. Because I know, you know, one of the things that was talked about this weekend, I talking to other fairs, trying to have carnivals. It's getting to be a nightmare for what they're demanding. I know I talked with one county fair to get 12 rides. And which are mechanical rides. The company told her for 22 that they're gonna request about $40,000 to be able to come, that they have to pay to get them there. Now, that's a pretty chunk of change they have to recover for rides.
It's a lot of buck and a half tickets.
Yeah, but the insurance has gotten, you know, astronomical for those. Plus, trying to pull trailers and move them through the state of Iowa is a nightmare. The DOTs in the state of Iowa are all over them constantly. They got one little light out. They're nailing them.
Do you have any carnival rides there? Usually
No,
you got your inflatables, don't
we've
you?
done inflatables.
It's been a few years.
It
maybe 10
Probably
years ago.
10 years ago, we had a carnival outfit.
You guys
Yeah.
tried it again and.
But then the
first
problem we
year
run
was
into
fairly-
is there's
Yeah.
20 some county fairs going the same weekend.
Yeah.
So if there's not that many carnivals. And the trouble, we tried getting one, some this weekend again, and no, we're already locked in at this fair and this fair. So we're not quite sure what we're gonna do on that part again. You know, that's what's always is to make a fair, is having rides, but yeah, it's not always the right answer. And what it takes to get them there, it's pretty tough to weigh that out. So we try to improvise, you know, and try and come up with all our own things, so.
Any other questions?
So, you know, it says here the county funding goes towards exhibitors, or half of it goes towards exhibitors and their expenses. And so I'm sure that that's gonna continue.
Yeah.
Continue doing that. So what are you gonna do with that cash, that big $40,000 that you got sitting in the bank? Do you have any plans for that, or?
Well, it's actually already down to 27,000 with all the replacements that we've had to pay for already, because just like our sound system is going to be over 4,000 that we got.
Gotcha.
And then we've got, and we're replacing
Yeah.
we're replacing some
Gotcha.
lighting in the pit area too, because it's not as safe as we like to have it. So we've got that in the process right now. Fortunate, the utilities are helping us out, and then Raccoon Valley is helping us out with some poles too. So
Yeah, I know in the past, you know, livestock penning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've helped you with. that
So-
kind of thing.
You know, I said that we need to get some work done on the roof on the sheep barn.
yeah, it seems like there's
always something, right?
yeah, there's always something that we got to repair.
You bring up the painting, like I said, there's redoing some painting for the bucket and bottle calves and stuff. And what steel prices have done. I mean, everything is just doubled or more in price, so.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet. Thank you for your time.
Okay, next we'll have Zach, secondary roads.
Morning.
Morning, Zach.
Couple things today. Got one utility permit for M&M Farms, Mark Schleichman. Basically wanting to get a water line across 2 different roads, as well as electrical service for those to add to a pivot system. This is in Jasper, section 8, 9 to 8, and from Jasper, section 9 to 16. So crossing Union Avenue with one and crossing 120th Street with the other. On 120th Street, that will be a bore, since that's a paved road. Union Avenue, that we're requesting that to be an open cut situation. So obviously probably not this year anymore with the weather getting colder and starting to freeze up, but want to get this part taken care of. So
Any questions on the utility permit?
Make a motion to approve that utility permit for work session.
I'll second that. Then moved and second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carried. We're not gonna try to play this.
not again. Thank you. Second thing is our A11 box culvert project. This was completed here a little over a month ago. We're looking to pay the retainage on this project. This one really went very quick, very smooth. I mean, I think the contractor's probably only there for about 3 days. Just over $2,000 left on the retainage on that project, so. Really don't have any any qualms at all about how that went in. We did get the fence put back ourselves and did some seeding, which was not part of the contract, but should be all ready to go.
And this, the detained is also in the claims today, right?
It is correctly in the claims for today.
I see it. So that's in it, so. Is there any questions on that? Is there a motion to approve the final on this project?
I'll make that motion. There's data.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved in second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else then?
One other just quick item of note, we do have our N3 bridge project coming up in the DOT letting being next Tuesday, the 21st. So that'll be coming up. Haven't really heard any questions, comments, anything from contractors yet, but I think we're really not.
Refresh my memory what that project is.
That's the bridge replacement that's northeast of Templeton.
Okay, yeah.
We talked about, I'm sure we signed the plans probably 3 months ago, maybe 4.
30 by 80.
Yep. Very similar to the Weiss Bridge of we did South Manning,
You say that's what day is that?
the 21st, next Tuesday, week from tomorrow. So we will have a contract to approve. One of the questions I have for you is if you want to proceed the same way we did last time, either you guys, whoever's the chairman next year, can get signed up and Doc Express to sign that, or we can do a resolution to allow myself to sign that contract. So however you guys like to proceed, nothing we're gonna do today, but just wanted to mention that and talk about it. So
I think the best way on that stuff is with chairman, let's just have a resolution that we get approval from us to sign it. Because if it's like the system we have with substance abuse, it's a big pain, you know, where,
it is a big thing.
is that otherwise every year you gotta change it?
I will, I'll work on getting the resolution put together for that, authorizing me to sign, and
Is that agreeable with everybody?
As long as it's duly noted in every minute in the minutes that each project is approved and I would have no problem with signing it. It is a large office to try to reach each year, unless you hold chairmanship.
I think a lot of counties are doing it that way just for that fact. It's just one less thing to have to sign up and get registered every time, so. And the DOT does require a resolution for each project. It's not one for the year, it's for each project that you
They want a resolution for each project.
for each project, so.
On substance abuse, did we get that done already?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
Couple meetings. If we could make it as hard on the DOT as they make it. But
You find out a way to do that, let me know.
let's put our heads together and see if we can come up with a way to get them supporting us done.
So I don't know when that'll all, it'll probably be around the first year or shortly after that when those documents come out. And then we'll start that process. So but, hopefully we'll get good bids.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Zach? Okay, if not, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have is the payables for the month week. Anybody have any questions on the payables? Hearing
no questions, I make a motion to we approve the payables for this period.
It's been moved and second to approve the table. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay. Next, we go into the resolution.
We're skipping the.
Oh, wait, we gotta do a flat, we're flat. Excuse me, we'll do it flat. Most of these are acreages, except for one, I think. They're splitting up some stuff, but when I reviewed them, and they didn't seem to be any issues to me, what I could see. The one is actually just a correction of flat. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the flats.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and second to approve the three flats that we have today. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do we need to mention it for public purpose? Probably, might be, not bad. First one is for land meal bar on an acreage. That is, the other one is for corrected plat for Cyril Renzi in Roseville Township. And then the next one is for requested by Dan Snyder on a piece of property that they're providing them. Okay. Next we have is a resolution in regards to the communication center. It's something that we've been working on for some time. And I think both parties are very much interested in moving forward with this. So first we have is a resolution which is creates a dissolution of the Carroll City and County Communications Commission. Is there any questions on that resolution?
Yeah, I just have this, probably a bookwork thing, but I have a question on the funding about the city and the county. The $60,000 that should be earmarked towards pension and insurance costs. Will that money be in this account when those are due? That's my question.
The only thing is, the reason that's in there is that's for the city's benefit, for them, for a way to generate more, to generate revenue to pay that.
So the city has, in our levy, we have some different pots the county doesn't have. So we have our general fund, sometimes it's referred to as the 810 levy. But we also have an employee benefit levy that's separate from the 810. So the 810 is limited to $8.10. But our employee benefit, which includes pension, insurance costs, that's an amount on the need to cover those costs. Now, we don't fully levy that. Some of our costs come out of the 810, but it's just how the state divides them. So by designating that 60,000, we're able to take that out of our employee benefit levy.
I see what you're saying, but my biggest question was, will it be there in time for those particular payments? That way they have to sort of carried in.
And generally,
that
it
work.
would be, I mean, because we're gonna pay half of it by July 31st, and then we'll pay the other half by the end of December. So
They'll
we're gonna
be working, we'll actually have more money than what we paid out when they pay.
We'll be in kind of ahead of the game a little bit.
Yeah,
is what
I
you're
mean,
saying. Okay,
I would say that we did it almost, there'd be credit there.
correct.
Yeah,
okay, no, I've been involved with these before, and if the funding doesn't come exactly at the right time, then there's a struggle for the fiscal agents to get it paid.
And it will, I mean, going into this first fiscal year, because the way everything is set up, June 30th is when it terminates. We're anticipating, we'll still have what is the last quarter of fiscal year 2022
Okay.
We'll get that bill in fiscal 23, like we have in the past. So we'll pay that, and then we're actually gonna be paying.
There's yours. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I just a question. I had another note.
Okay, but, and what you're talking about is the agreement, and this, we're on right now is the resolution 2021-031, which is the dissolution of the City and County Communications Commission. Is there any questions on that? If not, we need a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, it's the resolution, roll call.
Miners,
Yes.
Ruggles.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Shetler.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, next we have is the approval of the 2080 agreement for the public safety communication services.
I guess only one concern I had about this 2080 agreement, the duration of it, 10 years. How often will you guys reevaluate that? How easy would it be to renegotiate the price? I understand in the past, there's been some tough conversations to be had with this whole scenario. But let's say hypothetically, population changes in Carroll or something, more call volume or something like that. How negotiable is this? Do you guys get back together, or is it set for 10 years? That's the price, 10 years.
So, I mean, the way the 2080 is drafted and county attorney drafted the agreement, it, you know, if both parties want to come together and agree and make a change, that can happen. So certainly those discussions can happen. You know, unlike the current 2080 where there's a board that meets at least 100% of the budget, there is no board associated. So it would really take one party to initiate the discussion.
Otherwise, it runs for the first time 10 years and that renews automatically 35 years. So if nobody makes any moves, it automatically renews.
And certainly, I mean, 10 years, I know I initially, it's a long period of time. So certainly if there's a discussion when we less, and we would have to initiate that.
Any other questions or comments? Does that answer your question?
Not, I mean, I don't, still don't love 10 years. I mean, 10 years is a long time. So board will probably look different in 10 years.
But like he says, it can
But-
be, it can be renewed or opened up at a case.
It's better than having, let's do this every year.
It's been a,
Let's do more than every year. Yes.
Yeah, more than every year.
this does need to be the argument. And actually, I was contacted by the mayor-elect. He thought maybe I had a heartburn with this thing, and I said, no. I've been involved in leading this discussion this way. It's time to get it done. We don't need to have this argument. What is it? What is it called? What is it called? All that crap. So it's time to put it back. Any other discussion? If not,
I'll make a motion to approve the 2080 agreement. Public safety communication services with the county and the city of Carroll.
I will second that. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried.
Thank you for you guys' efforts on consistency. I know since I've been on the board, it's been a
I
subject
understand it's
matter.
been long before I was.
Yep.
So it's-
The subject
Long
matter,
before I was here too.
and thanks, so I think we got to look at it.
You want me to make a comment? No, I'm not.
Yeah, date yourself, would you?
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
I think it's been an issue ever since I've been.
Yeah, there was a lot of setup that was, it was new.
Are you guys
All
doing this
together,
tonight?
name.
Okay, I'll get my signature on here. and I'll send this with you.
You guys anticipate it being approved, correct?
Yeah. I can't guarantee it. I would only say one comment. I really have to thank Courtney for her work. I believe there are horror stories out there about counties not giving out their valuations till like February. I'm not sure how you do the budget. If you don't have your valuation till February, we got them last year. That really helps us do our jobs. So I just want to say that the county auditor just appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so we'll lead right into the evaluation report.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes these aren't the easiest things to understand, so I'll just kind of. So overall, we had an increase of 108,107,121.
What was the number again? 108?
108,107,121. So, which is good. We did have an increase in the rural values, 117,362,991, and a decrease in the urban values, 9,255,870. And I did reach out to the county assessor to kind of get an idea of what some of the changes were on the urban values, so we can kind of have an idea of what prompted that decrease. Some of it has to do with the rollback that the state sets on residential properties that can affect your taxable valuation. So I haven't heard back from her yet, but I just proposed this to her on Thursday, so she might have some work to do, and hopefully she can get back to me and I can let you guys know.
Well, I think someone to do the revaluation of the urban.
Yeah, I didn't really want to. I know there's a few projects that, like, there's one that was a commercial property that's now not a nonprofit, so that reduced the value that we can levy against. So hopefully she'll have a few ideas of why it went down. But overall, it went up, so that's good.
108 million, you say it went up, that in approximately.
Yeah, 108,107.
My question, Courtney, this has just got the county's portion. How do you get the rest of this?
It's just a different report, and
I started fooling around and I couldn't see.
yeah, you have to do it by levy authority, and I just did it by county. So the last year's report was by levy authority, so it lists all the authorities on there: schools, cities, townships. This one's just by the county, which is really the only numbers we're concerned with as far as our budget goes. The other ones are more for informational purposes.
And I like.
Yep, so, yeah, you just run the taxable valuation for 23 levies by levy authority. When you select that, and then it would print all of those. Just a pointer, the city of Ralston reached out to me, theirs wasn't showing up, and so if you see that, it doesn't show up because Greene County's got part of that value, and they're not done with theirs yet, so that's why theirs isn't showing up. But otherwise, they should look good. You'll probably notice an increase over in the Glidden Township values because the corn processors were not asking for any tip money. So that went all back into the tax base for us, school and township. So overall, yeah, no benefit from that. That's really all I have on it, unless somebody has any more questions on.
Any other questions?
No, that's good.
Well, you know, it helps make the budget go a lot easier.
Absolutely.
some of the counties that don't have a luxury of increased valuations. It's very hard for them.
Are there some counties that have an increase?
Yeah, they don't have increases.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would assume that in Russian state that pretty much south of Interstate 80, southwest Ohio struggle for being part of the state.
Yeah, when there's no growth, you know, and the values depreciate.
You don't have to go that far. I mean, just to the south, I think they haven't had both speak up. But I think now with those wind turbines, they're going to have some deals over there. But you take the city of Auburn, I mean, not a lot of changes. You get outside of those, Auburn, it's just worse. You know, one time they had a third of the population, a third of the valuation, we've been doing the same thing. We do. Plus, they also have a hospital and a medical.
Yeah, it's tough.
So, needless to say, if you look then at their levies are quite a bit higher.
And that's, you gotta be a little careful when you look at the levies in the state, they're high, but if valuations are not there. That's why they're not. It's a twofold thing.
Takes a big load off the screw right here.
Oh. We've got great residents and I think Neil's made the comment several times and he was absolutely correct. Some of the residents in the rural and in communities, you may think your neighbor has not improved these homes, but all in all, Carroll County residents take very good care of their properties. In town, in the rural, and this is the reason why we reach the benefit.
Thank you, Courtney.
Can I get a motion to?
Receive it. So would you run?
I believe last year you needed a motion to approve the
I'll make a motion.
1/1/21 valuation report.
Okay, I'll make a motion for the 1/1/21 valuation report presented by Don.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, motion carried. Okay, next we have this committee reports.
I can go first. Last week, I attended the District 1 ISAC Supervisor meeting in Boone. Some of it, I'll just touch briefly on a couple of conversations that were had. We didn't really get into the mental health and disability services. I know that's going to be a priority for them, and the state has taken it over. And then the second one would be open meetings, to continue to have meetings via Zoom. So if you've got 2 meetings in one day, to be able to allow the person to Zoom still on, change some of the wording in that legislation. Then also the zoning commission board of adjustment membership, they kind of want to spearhead back to that, because there's some vacancies that we have with the airport commission boards with that new legislation they passed. You gotta live within your district, and you had to live. Yeah, it was in a district.
You have to live in a rural area, you cannot live within a city or a zoning area.
And then we discussed the back to blue legislation that we're all very aware of now. And Jamie made it very clear, the word in there says shall set, the commission board, the compensation board shall set, has nothing in there in reference to the supervisors. Then I had a meeting with Scott at the ambulance with Jamie to discuss our potential partnership, to go into West Side a little bit for ambulance. kind of seems like everything's going ahead now. He's come up with a number that they are hoping to receive from Westside to offset some of the cost wear and tear on the ambulance, and then medical supplies should hopefully still be supplied through Crawford. The number he came up with was $1,500. So I think currently right now it's sitting with the fire department from Westside is going to present to the Board of Supervisors and see if they will allow that funding to be granted to Carroll County. We're still having a little bit of issues with our ambulance. I'm just trying to get that squared away. Other than that, everything's kind of calling up the ambulance department now. Then I had a daycare meeting. Everything's going well there. Obviously, they came to the board and did their funding request for 2021. We did hire a new on-site director, Lexi Holm. She started last week. They are going to start, Dean, your suggestion went really well with the whole board of looking at doing a fundraiser for companies, not just
Good.
only for direct families. We're going to start working on ideas after the first of the year, get through the holiday and start thinking of ideas. We went over the budget, which took a long time. Obviously, you guys know daycare's one on pins and needles, and it's not much money just sitting around, so we can't figure out. We want to do pay increases, and I think we're all well aware daycare staff don't make exactly the amount that they should. I did receive a phone call on behalf of this room right here about the microphone situation. So we are going to be looking into getting individual mics for everybody, because this lady listens to our meetings every week and she cannot hear us. Certain particular people. She can hear you and me. I don't know if it's a woman thing, like you can, our voice carries, or what. She said she couldn't hear anybody else.
I just took my hand off my mouth.
This upcoming
Well, yeah,
meeting,
some people project better than others.
Yeah,
And
like I
I'm
said,
one of them that don't.
when I was trapped at home for a meeting or two, I couldn't hear Gene. I could hear fairly well everybody else, but I couldn't.
And I
two
did
more things for you.
back
I
up on
did
that.
attend the comp board meeting and the secondary roads versus party. This week, I'm gonna go to city council meeting tonight. I think that's it for this week.
The Carroll City Council.
I was at the same ambulance meeting with Stephanie, talking about the west side issue, and I think that is gonna probably pass. Tuesday, comp board. Friday, secondary roads and second district judicial board meeting this week. I have decategorization on Thursday. That's it.
Last Tuesday, I attended the comp board. Had good intentions about other meetings, but things did not work out at all for the rest of the week. I did manage to get secondary roads on Friday. And attend another meeting with the city of Carroll. This coming week, I have on the council bluffs on Wednesday. That's for the WIWD and the CEO joint meeting. It's the first time that group's ever gotten together, so that should be a profitable thing, I think. Yeah, I do. Unless you. That's it.
Hey, Tuesday, I attended the compensation meeting. And then on also Tuesday evening after that, I had a policy council meeting for Head Start. We went through all the financial reports, went through the program report. We are at 210 kids enrolled in Head Start in all the centers. We're funded for 247. That is up from where we've been throughout the year, because regional has left us have less kids kind of COVID, trying to space them out, but they are letting us start to ramp up. Early Head Start, we have 33 in there, and we're funded for 36. In our center base, early head starts in Carroll location, we're funded for 32. We have 32 enrolled there. In Perry, we're funded for 32 and we're at 22. And we're having some issues there with some staff shortages and stuff like that. Probably the other thing that we have an issue with is with our grants, we have to provide so much in kind without having parents being involved in classrooms and grandparents and things like that. We're having issues with reaching our in kind, but we have got some waivers from the feds so we can get by that. They have understood what the situation is there, so the way that's been done. On Wednesday, Courtney and I did have a Zoom meeting with John at SCH, and he has got the final. Well, he had a draft yet, but it's not in final stage. Of a report that he will be putting together, and he will be sending that all out to everybody, or at least I'm reporting when they distribute, but the full-size sheets. And I think he plans on meeting with us next week. Is that right?
I'm not sure. We didn't really set it because I think he had to get, he was gonna get that proposal drawn up
Oh, yeah.
for them to do additional services if we choose to go with them.
Because we're at the end of that doing the preliminary work and stuff. And now to start doing some drawings and stuff like that. If we want him to continue on with that. I said you put an agreement on that before you started. So he's gonna put a proposal together for the services from this point on. Which would be to start drafting up things for waiver that. And we need to remember that this report that he just did is just kind of a roadmap. That's going to be subject to change. There's new changes. And I don't know if you are all aware that the county attorney has put in a request now that they are looking at have a public defender in here. So we may have to find a little room. It's not a big room, maybe like 12 by 12 and maybe a little reception. So that is something that we're going to probably have to look at. And John has said that could be even before below it. So
That'd be a full-time person.
I think they will be there part-time. They're probably ones that will be moved from county to county. When you, is that kind of where you understood it?
That's my understanding.
Yeah. So that's bring you up to speed on that. So things, it's always a moving target for us.
And I think he even said that in the basement would be okay.
Yeah.
Put them in the basement. So I don't think it's gonna be prime real estate, you know.
Okay. Well, I think it's because they're not going to be there all. All right, that was, and then Wednesday I did go to District 1. As you know, they went through some of the priorities and stuff, and they give us a copy of all the legislative stuff for the, and the back to blue was brought up, and I will say this, Carroll County was the only one that was really aware of what was going on there. Now, I will say there was not a big crowd at this in the end, kind of sad, but it was a good meeting. There was a lot of good topics, and Stephanie brought up most of that. So I think that's enough said about that. Thursday, then I was asked to speak at the Rotary in Coon Rapids, which I did do, and that was, and I spoke on new opportunities. That went very well. I need to send a thank you because I did walk out of not expecting the sizable check for kids' Christmas program, so I was real pleased about that. Then on Thursday, I did a review of our CEO at New Opportunities, which was good. And then also we had our board meeting on Thursday night, and we covered all the stuff that I talked about earlier on the policy council. We did approve a lie heap or I didn't approve. We had a short video on lie heap on the 101 of Route. Did that. We approved our minute, financials, which are just in our first month as far as a company-wide deal. We did approve a CSDG amendment, basically removing $24,000 around. We did also approve a policy in regard to COVID shots and participation. With Head Start and all our federal funding, we have to make people be either vaccinated or give them the opportunity to be tested weekly with masks. Otherwise, they pull the federal funding on us. So we did do that, and with one of the things that we're doing is that we're also through the wellness program, they were giving some money that we can provide the employees a stipend for having received the shot. So that was what this amendment was, is to move some money around there for that. Okay, I covered all the Head Start. We did approve the community services block grant year in review report. And had Chad give an update on the fire. And, that was basically it. And then there were some other reports that he provided to us, that audits that were done that were very favorable to the and its staff. Then on Friday, I did attend a meeting with the city of Carroll. This week I had actually Tanya, our Head Start director, will be receiving a regional award. She got the state award a while back, so she will be getting a regional award, and I will be attending that by Zoom. And then Friday, I have a Yes Center, one meeting that I will be attending by Zoom. That's my, and in regard to what Stephanie talked about, I did talk to Dalton about program. Okay.
Okay, I can go next. Last week, I attended the compensation board meeting like everyone else on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the Stevens group, Richard and John were here. They came, they flew in Wednesday morning. They had interviews with the administrative staff at St. Anthony Regional Hospital on Wednesday morning. They went back to Des Moines on Wednesday afternoon, and they met with Kelly Garcia, IDPH. And it sounded like it was a very good meeting. They had extended staff there, and actually the interim epidemiologist actually participated in the meeting as well. So that went very well. I think it was, well, I'll just hold off on that comment for a second here. Then on Thursday, they came back to Carroll, John and Richard, and had a interview with Nikki Schwerin at the hospital. And prior to this, they had, I mean, they interviewed a host of people prior to their coming to Carroll County. They sent Chad, they had an interview with Chad, and before the meeting, Chad says, geez, they had 50 questions that they were for him that they had sent him so that he could be prepared, and he answered those questions. And Chad said they were very, very thorough. And so there were different questions that went to everyone. And so obviously, and so I think they're well underway at when they completed their interview with Nicole Schwerin. they met with Becky and I. They had limited time because they had to catch a plane back in the afternoon. But it was basically interview questions for Becky and I as well. And, in conclusion, I asked them how everything was going, and everybody has been very cooperative, and there has been a very good flow of information. They feel very good about it. I know that they're going to reach out to all our neighboring counties, public health departments, and ask them questions about processes and how they are set up with their public health departments. There will be more questions for IDPH. One thing that I think John commented on several times was the looseness, he made the comment, looseness of IDPH with its county public health departments. And so he said more states are, they have a more rigid program, and so that you do complete these, you do this, you shall do this. There's nothing like that here in Iowa. So it's very loose, and I think that's why things have been somewhat the way they are with Carroll County, and there's no real statewide oversight. No guidelines, it just, they asked about the contract that we had with St. Anthony, of which we don't have any. And so I think that is going to be the emphasis. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on that. Coming up, not necessarily with a contract, but recommendations from them as far as what something like that would look like, and what our expectations should be of Carroll County Public Health, the supervisors and the Board of Health. So I think that's kind of the direction going. They had nothing negative to say about anybody. I mean, anybody. They thought that everybody was basically doing. I think it was more, they weren't doing anything wrong, but there were some things everyone could do a little better. And so they went back, and they're going to pull all this information. There are, like I said, there's going to be more interviews going forward, and I think they're off to a good start. I think Becky and I were both very happy with the way it's going. Then I attended the Secondary Roads Christmas party on Friday this week. Conservation Board meeting tonight. East West Nishnabotna is having their annual meeting. Well, I don't think it's their annual meeting. It's a pre-annual meeting. So they want nominations. They want for officers and that type of thing. That is on Wednesday in Oakland. This is not a hybrid meeting. So I guess I will probably be attending that. On Friday, the North Raccoon River Watershed Management Coalition is having an executive board meeting in Perry to prepare for the annual meeting next month in January. That could very well be in Carroll County again. They really liked the Ed Center. They were very impressed with Dalton, and being able to make it a Zoom meeting, make it a hybrid meeting so that people can come in attendance, but they can also participate. And that is actually really quite critical because of the quorum situation at these large. And so, but the other thing that we're going to be talking about on Friday is we're meeting also with the state DNR, and pursuing the possibility of what they call 319 funding from the EPA. And I think I touched on that a little bit the last time about the vote that we had on our 41% reduction and 48% reduction in nitrates. We had nitrate reduction. Since we did vote for the 48%, we do qualify for 319 funding for water quality reduction projects. And so I think there is a feeling out there that with the infrastructure bill and the dollars that are going to be coming to all the states for flood resilience and water quality improvements, that there's going to be some federal dollars available. So I think the way it sounds, they're going to want to try to get the North Raccoon especially in line, since it is by some people considered the dirtiest, one of the 10 dirtiest rivers in the country. And so that being said, it should be interesting going forward, but they will have their annual meeting in January. So we'll be preparing for that. That's what I got going on.
Courtney, what's next week?
A few things. It's told to keep the meeting short. No, I'm just kidding. I just have a note here that I think somebody had something going on, so we were supposed to try to.
Figured it out. Okay.
Okay, so Terry Axman will be here with our insurance renewal. He brought in the property information. I forgot to grab it and bring it down here, but if you want to stop in the office, he brought you all a copy. I think I gave you yours, Dean.
I got mine.
Did I give you yours? No. So yeah, if you want to come up, I can give you a copy. We'll have a hearing at 9:30 for the redistricting commission's recommendation. We have that first reading of the ordinance, our precinct ordinance, or whatever you call it. I'm not sure what the correct terminology is, but Carroll County ordinance number 35. And then we'll have a city, it's called the city and county agreement. And what that is it allows, it's basically the county asking the city for permission to have Maple River Township voters vote in the town of Carroll. If they would deny that, they would need to vote somewhere else. So that's that. I believe Mike Franny will be here with the compensation board's recommendation to present. As you know, in the past, you could just acknowledge receipt of the letter and take action on it at a later date. Probably going to have a couple plats. I already have one for next week, so that's all.
I shouldn't look at someone else, but I'm the one that asked her to keep it short because we're kind of tentative to set up for 10:30 to start the negotiations.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was. It's
Yeah.
had to be
So and I was just gonna ask you for a 15-minute delay.
We'll work around yours. Okay. I know Dean got a copy of this, a letter from Adam Stewart, and you did also?
Yes, I
And you forwarded them to?
I forwarded to
I think we should add, I will reach out to Adam and ask him to come in and give a presentation. I think there's some merit behind it that we need to be supportive on this. So I will reach out and have him get a hold of you. And so.
regarding Highway 30.
Highway
Highway
30, yeah, it's, to know, or raise money to do a study. Okay. I do have a preliminary copy of that, what he has had done, but being he's done with the draft, I did not send you a copy of this, but if you want me to, I can. On the SCH, or you want to wait till, and that should be coming.
I'll wait.
Right. The other thing I wanted to talk to a little bit about was this here. Stephanie, I did talk about this. My big thing, I think, is just make sure if there's anybody that's not, that needs to be replaced. There is one on here on the condemnation board. I mean, if you see anybody that's deceased, and that's what I see right there. I would assume most of these people that we have on these committees, unless you know somebody, are willing to accept them again. If they haven't heard anything, I'm personally assuming that they're gonna take another shot at it, so. I don't think we need, I think there's a lot of, particularly some of these committees, there's a lot of time was spent on last year. And we gotta remember, there's a lot of these returns not up yet, they run more on the last year's cycle, so there's only a few in there that we have to worry about. So I would like to have you take a look at that, so when we're going January 1st, we're good to go. Okay. Any comments from those in attendance? Any comments from online?
Yeah, there's two. I have them up on the screen. I don't know what they were according to, but this is what they said. So,
Alicia Reeves, BOIF, FYI, and Jamie Nicholson, BARK Tech.
So what they say?
That's what they said.
yeah, that's exactly what they said.
That's gibberish.
Scammers.
Thanks for nothing.
Take you under advisement. All right, if there's nothing else, we're in order for motion.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.